Hey Brandon, how are you?
What's up, man? I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good, yeah. Thank you so much for accepting the invitation, and
Yeah, for sure.
I'm very
For
looking
sure.
forward
You're
to our discussion.
stuck in traffic. There's traffic at 1 in the morning in Cairo.
Oh yeah, I'm based out of downtown Cairo, and yes, it is 1 a.m. and we do have traffic because of tomorrow is a weekend.
Yeah. Oh gosh, man. Yeah, I guess it is, huh?
Yeah,
Good.
cool. Cool. So yeah, as we've had back and forth already, so the this interview is going to be about you and your role at Expert Dojo.
Sure.
It's gonna be informal, like we're gonna have a sort of like a discussion about it. So I know Expert Dojo, and I've been
Yeah.
working with Expert Dojo for quite a while. I've been
Yeah.
working with Korea personally. So yeah, would you mind giving us like because we're recording this, we're sharing it with my network. I'd love to know
Yeah.
more about Expert Dojo, your role at Expert Dojo.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking for? And if we can also talk a little bit about Expert Dojo role in the MENA region, if possible, that would be perfect. So
Sure. Yeah. Glad to. So my name is Brandon Gerson. I run the Scout and partnership programs at Expert Dojo. I'm glad to have Mustafa as a scout. I'll give a quick background for those who don't know about Expert Dojo. We're an early stage venture capital fund, but a more accurate description is we're really a team of growth hackers, sales and marketing experts that has the backing of a brilliant family office, and together we invest in startups that we help grow revenue, find product market fit, and raise their Series A. So some people think of us like we're an accelerator, and we do invest in similar structure as like Y Combinator, but our focus is all about sales growth. And we do help with product and mentorship and fundraising, but moving the needle, so growing monthly recurring revenue, that's really what we focus on. And our initial investment is $50,000 normally in exchange for equity, or like a YC safe. And then we bring the startup into the Expert Dojo, which is a 4-year growth program where we put sales milestones in place. And then when the startup hits those milestones and proves that product market fit, then we follow on with $1 million investment. And that is the high level. I can go into a little bit more about like what the training looks like. Um, and I mean, we can
yeah.
continue to just talk about it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, appreciate you sharing that. It's interesting the fact that I've seen some VCs are taking the same direction, which is we like your startup, you come to us, we write a small check like 10K, 50K, whatever, and then we follow your progress. If you're growing rapidly and you hit certain milestones, and then we put a follow up high tickets. It seems like
Yep.
does that like a trend happening right now, or like what do you think?
A little bit. I mean, it helps de-risk and it helps, kind of spread out your ability to invest. I mean, I think speaking about us, we're really hands-on with those companies that we invest in, and our portfolio companies are really like we put them in a position where we can help them scale. So, in as opposed to just kind of like writing a check and saying, good luck, it's important to us that we have a really hands-on approach and we're meeting with our founders, daily. We're obsessive about that growth, and sometimes, you know, we're on their case because we're protecting our LP's money, we're protecting, our investment, and making sure that we're focusing on making sure that they can actually hit those milestones. So, passive investing, it's not our playbook. So I mean, I do think that it's more of a trend because if you look at the investments that have been made over really the past, like, since COVID, I guess you could say, there was a lot of money that was just going into any startup without something proven. It was really easy to raise money. And now we're seeing a lot of those companies, they don't have a plan in place to actually drive revenue and prove product market fit, and they're fizzling out. They're not going to be able to raise any more money. They can't support their business on revenue itself, and investors aren't going to be bailing them out. So, it's really important that you can make sure that you're able to achieve metrics, and that justifies getting more capital, and that justifies being able to, be a VC backable business.
Interesting. And then the fact that you're working with pre-seed and seeded startups, and then you getting them into a mentorship program so that they can prove the concept, get an MVP in place. Can you tell us more about the process, the mentorship program, and then how you decide what certain milestone the startup has to hit?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we bring a company in, and we make that initial investment, and then we bring them into the dojo, the first kind of starting point is we bring them in for one-on-one training every day with our growth hackers, and we put them into what we call our unicorn optimization score. And that's part of like our proprietary growth hacking process. And basically, we establish KPIs as like a baseline for where they are today, and then we want to put them on a trajectory to how we can scale them to become a unicorn and reach really $1 billion valuation. And in order to kind of do that, you need to first get to 6 figures MRR, monthly recurring revenue, and then eventually 7 figures MRR, monthly recurring revenue. And like what we kind of do is we work with them to understand where they are today. We take a holistic approach to looking at all their different sales and marketing tactics. It's all about ultimately CAC to LTV, customer acquisition cost to lifetime value, but there's a lot of different tactical elements that go into that. And, before you start spending money on any of your marketing tactics, you want to make sure that you have a really sound sales funnel, that it's fortified, that you don't have leaks, that you don't have high churn, that your product's really sticky, that, you have a lot of those like sound fundamentals in place. And so, that has to do with everything from, I mean, I guess, does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the more information you share about the mentorship, of course, it will be better. But yeah, I mean, it's I understand it varies from a startup to another, but there should be a major milestone that the startups have to hit anyway, right?
Yeah, and those are tied to revenue goals.
Yeah.
So looking at, I mean, it's all kind of different, whether it's a SaaS type business, whether it's a marketplace business, whether it's some type of a social network, whether it's a consumer product. There's different kind of metrics and milestones associated with the certain business type that you have. But ultimately, I mean, we're looking at all different types of marketing tactics. So just to kind of like, I guess, go down a list. I don't know. I mean, it's everything from, how much outreach are you doing? What does your email marketing strategy look like? Are you participating in SEO and SEM? What types of keywords are you being optimized for? What type of affiliate programs do you have? What kind of trust does your website build? How are you getting companies into the top of the funnel? Do you have a public relations strategy? Do you do content marketing on social media? Do you do, advertising on social media? What does that lead flow look like? What happens when they kind of get into your system? What does your sales funnel look like? What does your follow-up process look like? I mean, we look at all those different tactical elements, put a plan in place for kind of where you are today and where you need to get to achieve, 6 figures monthly recurring revenue, and then ultimately, 7 figures monthly revenue. And what is the delta of where you are today and where you need to go, and then putting a plan in place to achieve all those metrics. And then also working with our team, we have accountability calls, and we have internal coaches that are working with our portfolio companies daily, weekly, monthly, and making sure that you're actually following up on those metrics. And I think another good thing that just as a benefit of being a part of the dojo is because we have so many different companies that we've invested in, and they across a lot of different countries and verticals, or industry types, we're able to build a lot of camaraderie among companies that are kind of like operating in a similar space, and that helps to keep one another accountable. So, if you're a fintech solution and you're in Africa, and we have a fintech company that's a solution and their market is, California or United States or something like that, being able to network and kind of build relationships and say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is part of our outreach strategy, or this is part of, our email nurture campaign. And this is, what our content is saying to our prospects, or, sharing approaches.
Mhm.
So we're able to bring some of that value.
Nice, interesting. And then a lot of startups owners right now, those who are will be watching this recording, definitely will ask a question about like how do you scout for startups? What is your
Oh man, we got great relationships with people like you, Mustafa. I mean, you know, there's there are a lot of wonderful entrepreneurs right now. I mean, there's no better time in history to be an entrepreneur and to try to grow a business, and to be able to connect with people who are, I'm in Los Angeles, you're in Cairo, and we're here chatting about, startups, and we have companies that are in a shared ecosystem between us. I mean, the short answer to the question is we've done a really good job of building our brand as a destination for early stage companies who want to be able to grow. And we kind of eat our own dog food in that regard, where we're out there, we have content, we're good at SEO, we're good at PR. Our GP and founder of Expert Dojo, Brian McMahon, he's very well known in the industry. He speaks at a lot of events. He gets a lot of people who just reach out to him. And then also, we have a pretty robust scout network, folks like yourself who are in, specific geographies or specific niches, who have access to great founders, great startups who are building things. And, there's no shortage of startups who are either looking for capital or looking for help with their growth. And we've been able to tap into those networks, build relationships with people who want to send us, deal flow in companies, and be like, hey, check these guys out. And we're here to look at them and help.
Networking matters, of course. And then what would you do with a company in a Series A and they're interested in having Expert Dojo and one of their investors in their open round?
Yeah.
In that case, yeah.
So we generally don't invest into a Series A round, but we do have companies that they see the value that we bring from a growth hacking side of things and from a marketing side of things. So there have been instances where we maybe haven't written a check, but we've done kind of like an exchange of services. So it's like, hey, look, we're glad to get on the cap table, and do work and help you with work, and so like bring them into the dojo, give them the coaching, give them, the mentorship, roll up our sleeves, be very hands-on, working with their teams, putting processes in place to continue to help scale. And that really, that's the value that we bring. I mean, it's the ability to help businesses grow with all the tactical execution. And that's a lot of times more important than the check. I mean, a joke that I kind of say to a lot of our early stage companies is, it's not that hard to raise $1 million, but it is that hard to gross or net $1 million in revenue.
Correct. I couldn't agree more. And then, what is your personal preference, like investing in well-established markets like Silicon Valley in California, a very strong entrepreneurship hub, or emerging markets like the North Africa region?
Yeah, I mean, we've made a good amount of investments in Africa, and I'm proud to talk about a couple of those. There's a lot of businesses that are in emerging nations that have a lot, I mean, a really sizable TAM or SAM or SOM or however you want to look at that. And there's some entrepreneurs that are building remarkable things there. And so I think that it's important to recognize that, and to see that, innovation can come from anywhere in the world, really. United States, Silicon Valley, we don't have a monopoly on innovative founders who know how to build. You know, I can talk about a company called Kalasha that we've invested in out of Nigeria. A really strong founder. Her name's Jessica, and we're very happy to support female founders. They've closed out multiple rounds.
Yep.
They're hoping they're going to be one of the biggest like fintech companies in Africa. They kind of have like similar to like PayPal type business. They've done hundreds of millions of transactions.
Wow.
Um, and you know, and we've come in very early, you know, before they even launched. And I know now they have some really big VCs who've invested in them. Another one, Thank You Cash, Simeon, they founded that. I think they're going for their Series A now, rewards-based, you know, system that ties into like POS, and you know they're crushing it. So I mean, we've made a good amount of investments in Africa and really all over the world. I think we've now invested in probably every continent now. Yeah, I think we just actually made our first investment in I can give a shout out to Merkit Lee and Henry out of Ecuador, our first South American investment.
Wow.
So yeah, we're very active around the globe, and we just want to support good businesses, good founders who are doing things, you know, making a
Yeah,
difference.
absolutely. Yeah, that's kind of the spirit that is needed for entrepreneurship in general to support entrepreneurs. Um, and then like what is so when I say the Middle East and North Africa region, so what are the entrepreneurship hubs that are from your experience that you see that they have huge potential? So starting from Morocco all the way to the Gulf countries. So what do
Yeah,
you?
that's one region where I know we've made a couple investments out of some companies in Dubai, UAE. Uh, that's not a region that I've done a lot in. So I'm again, that's why, you know, Mustafa, I'm looking to work more with you so I can, you know, when we have this call in 6 months from now again and we do a follow-up, I can name drop. That's a region that we do need to get more active in and
Yeah.
be able to do more there. Because I certainly I see it. I see it. I just we need more boots on the ground.
Absolutely. And then also, are you one of those investors who are usually asking startups to have a Delaware branch so that they can invest in their companies, or do you invest directly in their own countries?
That certainly makes it easier. You know, I mean, look, that's where our money comes from. It de-risks it. Um, you know, it's not mandatory. I guess it depends on the host nation, right? So some are easier to invest in others, but as a founder, you want to make as little friction as possible to get investment. And so if you're actively seeking capital from VCs in the United States, it would probably be in your best interest to have, you know, a Delaware
Yeah,
C corp.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's what I've heard from every VC I've talked with. They always asking startups to have a Delaware
Yeah,
uh existence. So yeah, it's so yeah, I'm definitely happy. I'm very interested in helping and supporting Expert Dojo to scout for good quality, high quality startups
yeah,
North Africa. I'll definitely keep my eyes open and keep referring businesses. And then do you have any final thoughts, comments, something you want to share before we wrapping this up?
just keep building, you know. I mean, just keep focusing on sales and growing your business with new customers. I mean, everybody wants to see product market fit, and that is what you need to focus on. And so just do as much, you know, outreach as you can, work on all your marketing tactics as much as you can. Make sure that you are proving to investors that you're a hardworking, you know, scrappy founder. Of course, you need a strong product, but assuming that you have a strong product, you know, be lean, be tough, be aggressive, go to market, and prove that you're somebody who's, you know, going to be a good steward of their capital
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
I
grow at all costs.
absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah, thank you so much. Then I ended here, and of course we will definitely keep in touch. I'm gonna finish that recording right now. I'll share with all my network.
Cool.
Be scouting for amazing startups. I'll do all my best.
For
I've
sure.
worked with Expert Dojo. I love to continue supporting Expert Dojo in the North Africa region. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
we're
And
definitely.
if any, for sure, I was just going to say, if anybody wants to, reach out, we're pretty easy to find. You can find us on LinkedIn, Expert Dojo. My name's Brandon Gerson, or reach out to Mustafa and he can connect us.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Thank you so much.
For
Appreciate your time.
sure.
You have a lovely day, bro.
Likewise, brother. All
Thank
right, you
you.
too. Be well. Bye.